Does Elaine Thompson regret leaving coach Stephen Francis at the end of her 2022 track and field season? Welcome back to the channel, people. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, thank you for making it Peter Lloyd World. Now go ahead, please hit that subscribe button so we can continue to grow. When you do that, go in and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video drops, which is about once a day here on Peter Lloyd World. Also, if you enjoy the content, please hit that like button. And finally, leave your thoughts after this sports analysis where we take a look at and we break down the races. So, when you're ready, yep, good to go. At the end of her brilliant 2021 season, the world's second fastest woman all-time over the 100 meters and the third fastest all-time over the 200 meters, Elaine Thompson left MVP Track Club and her coach Stephen Francis. This sent many a track and field fan and fans of Elaine Thompson into a tailspin. Now, the reason why we're still talking about this is because, let me be honest with you, we have had this channel now for a year, and for the entire year, many of you keep referencing her leaving coach Stephen Francis, keep saying she's going to regret it, she's regretting it, she made a terrible choice, etc. So let us look at this fact. Is she really regretting leaving coach Stephen Francis now that her 2022 season has ended? Out of her own mouth, she explained why she had made the transition from MVP Track Club.
Well, pretty much I'm working with my husband, He's not really my coach, but I'm just working with him. He oversees my program. What I've wanted for myself and based on the path that I'm heading, yes, MVP could not provide that anymore.
So Elaine Thompson left MVP Track Club and left coach Stephen Francis and continued her path. Now, she basically said in that interview with Miss Kitty on Nationwide, she said very bluntly that, basically where she had reached, MVP could no longer provide what she needed, and people evolve and people grow. However, we must concede that 2022 was not the best season. It wasn't a horrible season. It wasn't terrible, but it really wasn't the season that she had in 2021. In fact, in her very last outing, she was beaten by Sha'Carri Richardson, which sent even more people into a tizzy. But of course, this was at the very end of her season. Richardson barely beat her by 0.01 over the 100 meters on the horrific conditions in Elaine Thompson last race for the 2022 season. For many, this loss was adding insult to injury. Sha'Carri Richardson, of all people, should have not been the person who beat her. But she did have a mixed season. She became the Commonwealth 100-meter champion. The Commonwealth 200-meter champion, making her the double champion over both 100 and 200 meters. And after many years, she finally won a medal in the finals of a world championship, winning the bronze in a Jamaican sweep in Eugene, Oregon, behind compatriots Shelley Ann Fraser-Pryce, who came first, and Shericka Jackson, who came second. Truth is, 2022 for any other athlete, even any other great athlete, would have been a solid year. Commonwealth champion, double champion, bronze medal in the World Championship over the 100 meters, and not to mention, she has ran consistently sub 11 seconds, running some really, really solid time. Her best time being her run at the Prefontaine Classic 2022 when she ran 10.79, her season's best for the 2022 season. Of course, nowhere close to her personal best of 10.54, but still an exceptional time, world class time.
Remember, when you were a child, your parents give you everything and you accept it because you didn't know what is best for you. And I have grown, I've matured, and I know what is best for me. So pretty much.
Now, this, of course, is my 2 cents. As stated, Elaine Thompson did not have a horrible season. In fact, she had, by regular world standards, a very, very good season. Most of her races were sub 11. She ran a season's best of 10.79. She won a bronze medal in the World Championships over the women's 100 meters. She won the double at the Commonwealth Games in both the 100 and 200 meters. Of course, there were missteps. She also stated very frankly and very honestly that she is injured. And we saw what had happened when she was injured for the years between 2016 and 2017 after she had won the double at the Olympic Games in Rio, all the way up to 2021 when she was able to redeem herself after being healed from many years of injury regarding her Achilles heel. Now, many are going to say the obvious. Peter, she's running these times simply because she left Stephen Francis, and Stephen Francis would have been able to have her run closer to the world record or run a sub 10.54. But I'm not quite sure if this is true. Stephen Francis, the genius that he is, had her between 2017 and 2021 when her performances were still amazing because, of course, she is Elaine Thompson. But they were not what happened in 2021. Now, yes, in 2021, it was under her tutelage that she was able to run the fastest she had ever run in her life, the second fastest 100 meter all time, and the third fastest 200 meter all time, winning the double. And just doing, it was just a phenomenal year for her. So I am not saying that Stephen Francis had nothing to do with it. But what I am saying is while she was injured before she was recovered, her performances were just like what happened this year during injury. So I'm not sure that Stephen Francis had that much to do, in the sense that between 2017 and 2020, so to speak, she ran great races. They were solid. Her times was amazing, but it was not the Elaine Thompson from 2016. This was because of the injury. Once she was injury free under his tutelage and his brilliance, she was able to run some amazing times. Now, after leaving him, that may have impacted her, but the fact is, what I think really slowed her down this year was the injury. Once injured, and she seems to be prone to injury, once injured, she simply cannot perform at the level that we saw her at in both 2016 and 2021. Secondly, she alluded to the fact that, she has grown up and she had to accept certain things, and now what she wants, MVP and Stephen Francis could no longer give her. We have seen her move from Nike to Puma, and I think that was a big deal. I think one of the major reasons why she was unable to move from Nike to Puma, was that the contract had not ended, and B, I don't know, maybe there were forces there who didn't want her to leave Nike. She's an adult, people. She's 30 years of age. And at 29, after being with Coach Stephen Francis for quite some time, she decided to make a transition. And I understand why many of you take it very personally, because you think that she wasn't grateful. But she said in numerous interviews that she was grateful to Stephen Francis. I honestly think that what happened to her this year was a combination of two factors. One is the post-Olympic high, the Olympic blue. This is a theory that states that athletes who do extremely well in 1 year, in like the Olympics, World Championships, etc., in many instances the following year they simply do not do as well. And she's not the first. This has happened to many other athletes. Secondly, I think her injury was a big issue. While she was injured, even under the tutelage of the brilliant coach Stephen Francis, who I respect immensely, she just was not the person that we saw in 2016 and or 2021. It was not until she had a whole year off because of COVID, which I think gave her the opportunity to properly heal, that's when we saw the best of her. Now, did Stephen Francis have anything to do with her running those crazy times last year? Unequivocally and without doubt, yes. He certainly did. He's Coach Stephen Francis. He brought her from baby to adulthood. He's a brilliant coach. So yes, I do think he had something to do with it. So, which leads to my last point. She stated that her husband is overlooking her career. Now, we know that he's not a world-class coach. But the fact of the matter is her times were solid. 10.79 is a great time. 10.81, the World Championships is a great time. It's not the Elaine Thompson from last year, but I still think that a lot of that has to do with the injury. A few of you, my amazing royals, have raised the fact that had she been under the tutelage of a coach, Stephen Francis, she would have been able to avoid the injury that slowed her down in her 2022 season. And that just might be true. But I can also state that it was under Coach Stephen Francis that she was injured and for many, many years ran injured, which I never agreed with. So I'm not quite sure if that's exactly true either. She healed because for the entire 2020, she couldn't run. She couldn't do anything. She had time to heal. So I'm not quite sure about the argument about Stephen Francis having her avoid injury, because she got injured under his tutelage and ran injured for many, many years under his tutelage. So I'm not quite sure if that argument actually holds up. So at the end of the day, do I think she regrets leaving Stephen Francis? I think unequivocally the answer is no. I don't think she regrets it. I think she made a decided decision. She made a decision. She got injured. Things didn't work out as good, but it certainly wasn't as bad. I think once she's healed, we're going to be seeing Elaine Thompson like we had seen her in 2021 and 2016. That's my personal opinion. She did a great deal with Puma. I think she's making very good money. And she is still one of the top 3 fastest women in the world as we speak. Will we see her back to form? I certainly think this is highly possible once she gives this injury an opportunity to properly heal. As for the brilliance of Coach Stephen Francis, let us not take anything from that man. He's amazing, but I don't think she regrets it. But this, of course, is my 2 cents. I'd absolutely love to know your thoughts. Remember, you're royals, kings and queens. Now, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. Leave your comments. Bless up!